Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 12, Episode 8, overall 613 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Automall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac products as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210 and tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969 and has been a sponsor, advertiser of this show, Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, for the past 3 years. I hope everyone is doing well on this dark, overcast, rainy day here in Southern Ontario on Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Hard to believe it's already November 5th, and we're supposed to get some snow this weekend. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is her first appearance on our show. We met through TikTok, and today's guest, her name is Sheila Baroro. She is a chartered professional accountant, or known as a CPA, traumatic money practitioner, and the founder of her own company called Rise and Rebuild Academy. And she does work with women with finances as well. And we're going to bring on Sheila and talk a little bit about money and finances, and a little bit about what she does as well as a chartered accountant. Good evening, Sheila.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. And how's the weather in your part of Ontario?
I'm basically here in the GTA area, so it's kind of dark right now.
Dark, overcast, windy, rainy here today. So,
oh yeah, it's a time of the year that oh God, but it's okay. Let's stay positive, even though the weather is kind of gloomy.
We're supposed to get 2 centimeters of snow this weekend.
I heard. So we're not gonna think about the snow yet. We're still on Wednesday, so we still have 3 more days before the snow.
I like snow. I just don't like ice. I don't mind driving in snow, but ice you can't do anything about.
That's true. Yeah.
True.
Well, I grew up in the Philippines, so moving here, oh my God, it was so traumatic. Like we didn't have snow. We have all season summer. We have summer all season, so we didn't have snow. Anyway.
How much of an adjustment was it coming from the Philippines to Canada, and the climate and the language and that barriers?
It was like we migrated 20 years ago, and like first it's a climate, and we arrived winter, and we were so shocked coming out from the airport, and when you feel the wind, oh my God, we arrived around March, so it was still winter at that time. So it was really horrifying for us, but well, we got used to it. So it took some time. Like, most of the immigrants as well, like maybe we experience the same. We have to go through all the process and then get used to it. And then Canada is our home and we're here. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was going to put you on the spot. What is your favorite season of the year then?
Of course, it's summer.
Summer.
Yeah. No brainer for me.
Now, where you were in the Philippines, were there summers hot and humid like they are here in Ontario now?
Kind of the same, but the difference there is that, especially where I grew up in an island, so it's a sea breeze. It's just beautiful, breeze, and it's so different. But kind of the weather is still, I don't know how to what's the difference, but It's just a different smell of the wind and the air. So I would say that.
Do you ever go home to the Philippines to visit family still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my parents, both of my parents passed, but
I'm sorry.
no, no, thank you. It was yeah, so we went home 2 years ago with my family. I have two boys and my husband. So the four of us went to the Philippines and to visit. Of course, we still have relatives there, and I want to show my kids where we grow up and what's my root and my culture. So it was beautiful.
What's the time zone like there compared to here? And what's the flight like down to the Philippines? How long is the flight?
It's really 12 hours difference. So it,
Wow.
yeah, the jet lag will kill you. But anyway, sorry, sorry my word, but yeah, the jet lag. And then the traveling time will be all the way to my island. It's going to be 24 hours. It's a
Wow.
long, long way.
So when
Yeah,
you go there, it's better to go for 3 or 4 weeks than
that's
1 week.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, your traveling time is already 1 week coming back and forth. So you need to have another 2 weeks in order to enjoy the place and visit your relatives.
Here's a fun fact about myself. I've never been on an airplane yet, and I'm 53. So I guess
Oh, really?
I should go on it once.
Yeah,
I
I
should
should
try it once.
invite you to my country. Although it was flooding 2 days ago in my
Yeah.
country, it was really hard.
Ooh.
But yeah, it is what it is. It's the Mother Nature is calling. So it's just
What's
so sad.
for someone that's never been there, what's one of the big attractions down there?
Well, it's all the beaches, the white sand, and especially in my island. I came from Siquijor, Philippines. If people are watching from Siquijor, our island is I think, one of the most visited islands in the Philippines right now with tourists. So it has a lot of culture, and then white sand and food, and the most important thing I would say this, and the people, mostly the people from my country, are hospitable, and we look at lives easy, even though some people right now, they experience a lot of earthquake 2 weeks ago, and now flooding because of typhoon. But people are very hopeful, so I would say that the positivity of the people from my country is very, I would say, I think, yeah, that's where, like, the tourists would always wanted to come because of the impact of the people from the local there.
Strong community, basically.
I would say, yeah.
How many islands are in the Philippines? And I'm going to put you on the spot here before we get into some
Yeah.
serious questions. What's your favorite Philippines food?
Okay, how many islands? That's a very, I think it's around more than 7,000 islands. I think,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, more than 7,000 islands. And my favorite food is, of course, it's fish. And we call it, I don't know what's in term that, I don't even know if we have a term here, but we called it scabici. That's my favorite food.
What makes a good fish dinner?
I know, yeah. Because we live like by the ocean,
Shouldn't-
so we have fresh fish there. That's
Okay.
what I miss most.
I'm not a seafood guy, so do they have other foods besides fish?
Oh, of course, we do.
Okay.
And we can accommodate whatever you want. So I think that your first flight is going to be to the Philippines. Let me know. I could really coordinate people.
I'd be open to that. The older I've gotten, I've tried more things than I did when I was in my younger days. So I would like to get on a plane one day.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. Sheila, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and when did you develop an interest in being an accountant and working with dollars and cents and financial aspects?
Yeah, well, that's a very I don't know how to, like, interesting question. Well, it's not interesting. I'm a CPA, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of background of myself, maybe. So I grew up in scarcity. Like, as I've mentioned, I grew up in the Philippines, in an island where, like, I would say, we consider ourselves poor. We didn't have any electricity growing up, but now they have already. At the time when I was growing up there, we didn't have electricity. We didn't have library at school. And it's basically when I reach here and I see people here, it's, oh my God, that's a very big difference in life. But anyway, so in my country, especially when you are growing up with scarcity and you are not well off, the I think the only way out for you is education. So CPA in the Philippines are well paid. So I took accounting and then I kind of like math. So anyway, like I tried I was originally I wanted to be a lawyer, but like to become a lawyer, I should take for I mean a pre-law course. So that's why I took accounting and then I became a CPA and then I said kind of like CPA already. So I did not pursue my dream, my other dream. So at the time it was like it's all about, you know, like coming out. You need to grow. You need to come out from poverty. So that was my motivation to become a CPA. And then after that, I moved to Canada and I study again because, our education system here, you need to transfer your credits and study again to be a CPA here. And in fact, it wasn't very easy because my kids were so little at that time. And there were really times that I'm crying on a winter time why I had to go to the library all day on the weekend because I work full time at that time while studying. And but the only thing that I would say is I don't want to regret. So I finished CPA at some point, and then I study a lot of other profession. And for me, I'm gonna go straight to the trauma of money practitioner. So what interests me in the financial coaching, and it's a trauma informed financial coaching, is that the I worked with organizations that dealt with survivors of gender-based violence at the shelter, women living at the shelter, and another organization that I worked with actually women who were incarcerated. So you mean paroled women coming out from prison. So at that time, I am a consultant as well to nonprofit organization. So that's why I worked with organizations dealing with women. So there were times that I had to walk with women, uh, incarcerated women. They couldn't even open a bank account. I needed to vouch them to the bank that I know them. It is so hard. I've seen, like, firsthand, women who struggle and financially, especially the survivors of gender based violence. And because for women who cannot leave their partners who are abusive because of economic independence. If they're not financially free, they can't leave their partners. So I've worked as a financial consultant in an organization that we have shelters for women who are survivors of gender-based violence. And one of the reasons why they cannot leave their partners is because of the financial independence, and they need to start that. And that's why that inspired me, because the executive directors of all this organization asked me if I could help. So that has shifted a little bit of why I started, and I study actually a trauma of money, because the money financial literacy is not only about, like, hey, a cash, a debit, a credit, or you have your cash in the bank. That's not the only reason. Other people struggle because of trauma, because of the stories coming out. Let's say, for example, myself growing up in poverty, I was always operating in scarcity. When you operate in scarcity, you tend not to spend, or you tend to spend more. So you need to heal those stories. So that's where I'm coming from. Sorry, like Chris, I think introducing myself was so long. So you go ahead and for your.
No, that's hey, this is what my show's about. And one of the guys from the Blue Jays came on my show a couple years ago, Buck Martinez, and he said, "Chris, when you do a virtual show or a live interview, make sure your guest is a talker. There's nothing worse than doing an interview with somebody that's very shy or intimidating. So I want my guests to come on here and share their stories and their careers. And I wanted to ask you this. How did you come about helping women that were getting out of prison, and what was that experience like?"
Yeah, so as I've mentioned, I'm also a consultant. I am, I would say, a fractional CFO. So I used to work as a director of finance in the government and in the nonprofit organization. So those were my areas professionally, and as a CPA. And I worked in one of the organizations who our most of our clients are paroled women. So I saw them firsthand, like how they transition their life coming out from prison. People sometimes don't really acknowledge. I mean, to the bank. So my experience with them is that that was only my personal choice. My role at that time was the director of finance of the organization. It's not actually a personal coach to these women at that time. That was 3, 4 years ago. And some women would need my help and say, Sheila, we need help. The bank would not gonna let us allow open an account because they don't have any address, they don't know anybody. So I have to literally walk with them to the sorry to the bank and tell the manager and say, hey, I know this person. So it was really like it was so hard that I've seen that the system is not helping. And it was my personal choice because I partner with the director there for programs who support them. And we, at our own personal capacity, that's how we support women, and especially women coming out from prison. It is, they're starting their lives. And the thing, if they don't know how to start their life, they will go back to the cycle because that's where their comfort is. They will go back to their community where why the reason why they were in jail. The tendency for them is they were going back. A lot of issues and in the community and the sector right now, but we don't want to go to there. But some women really struggle, so that had encouraged me. So that was my experience with the women who are actually coming out from prison, and it's just so rewarding to help them at a personal level.
Do you find today, even in 2025, the same issues with women who are incarcerated coming out? Do they say same issues with that?
Definitely, Chris. It's still ongoing, and most of the people didn't know this, right? And the one that for us, like we saw firsthand women, and there are still incarcerated women right now. There are still women who are living in the shelter. A lot of women that are struggling in poverty, and it is, even though 2025, it's still ongoing unless we are going to fix things. But the only way we can is we have to help them. And that's why I'm doing my trauma of money I mean financial coaching, because most of the women that I helped is actually they have trauma of money, trauma of growing up. They have so much trauma in their lives that even facing the money issue or money situation, it's traumatic to them. So that's why most of my way of dealing with my clients are actually in a gentle way, because they need to address what's the story behind, what's the root of why you are acting this way. So, and anyway, everywhere we go, I would say every one of us has trauma, and not only trauma of money, but trauma of growing up, trauma of like a lot of things. So it's still there, and it will be still growing because of the situation right now, affordability, and there's just so many things that we need to help. And the little way we can help, at least at a personal level, that would be good for them.
Now, in 2025, do you find there's still a lot of women that are married that are reliant on their partner to financially support them? I know being born in the 70s and growing up in the 70s and 80s, the man would work and the mother would stay at home. But do you find there's still a lot of women who are married that are when they stay in marriages because they can't financially leave?
Well, at a different cluster of women, some are I've read the news that women are more financially literate. I mean, like using their voice, financial voice right now. So it's better. It's getting better, and it's getting better. But however, there are really the bottom, the women who are in poverty. They can't just, it's so hard for them to get out of, let's say, in a situation where in a partner where they experience abuse. The other thing is that women also experience wage gap with men, sorry. And that's a reality. And also women will go through, you know like giving birth, and there are going to be a lot of disruptions in lives. So there's has been always, but right now it's improving, and hopefully it will continue to improve. But as I've mentioned, the women who are struggling in poverty, who are in the shelter, it's still it's still an issue, and we just need to help them.
Do you find the wage gap between men and women has shrunk, or do you find there's still a big difference between men and women's wages?
I think I'm not really sure right now, but I know that when we were working on a pay, like equity pay on one of the organizations, we've seen a little bit of, like, at least the then it's narrowing the gap. So it has been narrowing the gap, but because some organizations and even our Minister of Labor has been looking into it, that we need to have that pay equity. It is being mandated by the labor that we need to address that. Most organizations are looking into it so that women should be as equal as men in terms of the pay, and
Have you,
hopefully it will be better.
Sheila, have you thought about one day writing a book from your experiences?
Yeah, basically, that was really this is really one of my goals. And there's so many things I could talk about. And there's actually, I have a plan of launching a 90-day journal. It's a money healing, because it has to go through 90 day, because like over time you will not gonna be healed of, like, in just 1 day or 2 days or 30 days. It has to be a longer time to be sustainable, and that at least it would be healed. So that's my goal, and writing a book is really a great idea, Chris. And hopefully I will inform you if I'm ready, and yeah, hopefully you'll be the first one to read about my story.
Maybe your own podcast because you're natural on camera, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you. No, I don't
So,
know that yet, but yeah,
well,
thank you so much.
if you ever do decide to start a podcast, let me know and I'd be glad to assist you.
Oh, okay, that's amazing. I will let you know.
Now, I do have a viewer watching. He's a viewer, but he's also a fan of the show, a friend of mine, and he was on my show a couple months ago. He's a former U.S. military veteran for 20 years, and he's now a professional motorcycle rider in California. His name is Edward Hearn. He wants to ask you a question, Sheila, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you'll be able to answer it or not, but I'll ask you the question from Edward. In motorcycle racing, is it better to take a cash payout or receive a check to avoid paying taxes?
Motorcycle racing.
He's in professional motorcycle racing.
Okay, so he's getting paid for that, right? So
Yes.
it's really yeah, it's a tax question, and it's cash, but we are online. So if your business is registered as a professional motorcycle, uh, I would suggest you report it to the government.
Government.
But mostly, if it's paid by cash, sometimes there's no trace. So there's no trace of the money coming to you. So that's the best way of, but it's still evading. Sorry, I'm a professional accountant. I'm not going to advise tax evasion.
Yep.
But yeah, so
Yep.
just email me if ever you have other questions. And thank you for asking.
Yes, and he's from California. He's a nice guy, and he's a friend of mine as well. And another former guest of mine and a friend of mine. She has her own podcast too. Maybe one day you could be a guest on her show. Her name's Nikki Stiles Baker. She just wants to say hi, Chris. Hi, Sheila, and thank you so much. She's watching us as well.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much.
For those people that are watching on live stream and you have comments or questions that you want to ask my guest, Sheila, please go ahead and type them in the comment section as well. I'm working on trying to get more participation from my audience on these shows as well. Nikki says, good answer. And Nikki says she would be interested in having you on her show as well. Yes.
That would be amazing.
And Edward Hearn has another comment. He says, I'm trying to keep up with the comments. Thank you, Sheila. I will email you.
Thank you, Edward. And yeah,
So,
just connect with me.
but Edward, just to let you know, Sheila is in Ontario, Canada. So our tax rules and laws are a little bit different than Californians. But I would always say if you're in a business and a profession, always take the check and always have the tax taken off, because if one way or another, the IRS or the CRA will get you in the end if you don't declare your income. That's my advice.
Thank you, Chris. You saved me. But I know a little bit of tax in the US too. So I did a little bit of,
Oh,
So
okay.
just in case you have, so they
Good
can ask me.
Okay, good to know. And Edward's going to reach out to you as well. Another question I wanted to ask you, Sheila, is where did you attend school when you came to Canada? And did you have any early influences and mentors?
School, I would say here in Canada, well, because I transferred my credit in from the Philippines as a CPA, so I just studied directly at the we used to be have like a CPA Ontario. So I did that, but I did a lot of studies at UFT, short courses at UFT, and taxation at Athabasca University, and then I also study project management, and I'm also a project management professional, and I study at Sheridan College. So there's just, so I've done a lot of studies. And sorry, I forgot what was the other question.
Just some of your early influences and mentors.
I see. Yeah. So sorry about that. Yeah. So there's so many. So my first, I think my first influencer was my brother. He is a business owner right now and an entrepreneur. And then when I arrived here, there's so many people who helped me along the way, and that is why I went up to the corporate ladder in the government, and my last role was a director of finance and administration, and that I cover HR, IT, facility, and then after that I started my consulting, and they're still my clients. So most of my clients were my colleagues before. So a lot of mentors I had along the way.
For those people watching the show live stream or later on audio, and there's somebody out there that's looking to be a CPA, a certified professional accountant, from your experiences as a CPA, what advice would you give to those people?
Yeah, so basically, especially right now, I know we don't have that much CPAs anymore. So it's a struggle to hire. Even me hiring people here, it's a struggle. So we outsource a lot of CPAs from the Philippines, from India, and because we lack CPAs, and
I had no idea.
Yeah, we do, and it has been. That's why I started my consulting, because I'm fractional CFO. So they hire me. An organization will hire me as 2 day per week, and another organization will hire me 3 day per week. And some are that's my business model, because they cannot afford as well at a higher level of director. And then there's just not so many CPAs around in the market right now. The only thing I could advise is accounting is a very good profession. And because it's not only as your profession, but it also helped you as on a personal level. You would grow, and you know how to navigate life, because at the end of the day, finance is very important to survive or to thrive. So you have that professional expertise, and at the same time you can apply that to yourself and to your family, and how you want to do your life in the future. And how are you going to navigate that? You just have to love numbers. And if you love numbers, and you will love accounting. And it's going to be a long way to finish accounting, especially here in Canada. I'm not sure, and yeah, kind of the same in the US, but eventually it pays off. When I was studying, and then it was so hard, I had kids, little kids at the time, and I cried many times why I'm doing this. But at the end of the day, it was worth it. So I would encourage who are really students now, who are thinking or would like to change profession. And if I could touch a little bit of AI could potentially replace a lot of our automation work, but the strategy and the thinking and our knowledge, AI cannot replace that. So I still CPA is still a very valuable profession, um, wherever you go. And
Why
thanks for
ha-
asking, Chris.
well, thank you for answering that, and that's lots of information I didn't know about. How long has CPA accountants have how long have they been shrinking? And do you find AI will eventually grow the workforce or continue to diminish the workforce?
I would say I've been into CPA courses about talking about AI. AI would only automate things, so it would improve our efficiency. It does not replace. It won't replace us. So it will it's going to be an automation, especially those tasks that are very repetitive. So that's going to be affected by AI. But to be like, since after pandemic, I've noticed that a lot of CPAs resigned, and there were so many could be burnout. And after that, my friends who are in the audit firm, they're looking for CPAs. There's no students, and the enrollment is so low. So hopefully, they're trying to encourage people to take accounting, because I eventually, at the end of the day, everyone needs a CPA. All
And that's what
businesses needs a
and that's
CPA.
what Nikki. My guest Nikki just said that. Yes, everybody needs a CPA.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Yeah, it is. And yeah, so all businesses, they need CPA, they need accountant. And not only that, like a lot of organizations need accountant. I'm in the nonprofit sector and the government. We need also like strategic CPAs. So yeah, it is the enrollment is very low, but hopefully we'll get more.
Is there a high burnout rate with the CPA industry? And are there still people working from home, or are they back in the offices now after the pandemic?
So, yeah, like thank you for asking that. There has been a lot of burnout. I have a lot of projects that automate things because of the burnout. So it's not actually, it's a system that makes our work burning out. So that's why people were so tired after, because like there's a lot of deadlines. You have to close the books at the end of the month. You have to to have to report and to deal with the upper management, and to deal for us, we need to deal the funder, the government. And there's a lot of burnout, a lot of deadlines. And then the worst thing is there's not that many people who do the job. So the only solution for that is automation. They need to change their system and upgrade it, because we already have AI, we already have automation. Some organizations are still using old system that is not even, it's not helping their staff. And working from home, yes, we still have. In fact, I'm still working from home. I go to the office twice a week for my other clients. And I'm also working. My friends are also still working from home, but it's a hybrid, mostly hybrid. So that's the situation right now.
One of my friends and former guests on my show, Nikki Baker, wants to ask you, Sheila, are you able to work with U.S. nonprofits?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I have a few clients in the US before, but that was the profit sector. But right now, because I'm specializing in nonprofit, and the nonprofit in the US and in Canada is very, very similar. The only thing there is our charity returns. Like we submit to CRA, I can deal with that one as well in the US. So yes, the short answer is yes.
What's the best way for Nikki or somebody that's watching or listening to the show to contact you?
Yeah, so I have my LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn is Sheila Baroro, and it says CPA, Sheila Baroro CPA. And yeah, so that would be the best way. And I could also share my email address as well.
And Edward Hearn, who's watching us, he is now following you on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Oh, thank you.
How much has the world of the internet and social media changed the CPA industry and your business as well, which is a SMB Finance Consultant?
How much is social media? That's a good question. And it is very helpful. Like the social media for accountants, most accountants were not really into social media, and I think I have the advantage because I face the camera and I have the my LinkedIn social media, I would say LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn cannot be, I don't know if it's a social media, but most accountants don't show themselves. So if I would say that if you are self-employed and if you are a consultant, just show up, because people wouldn't know if you are doing you do your services if you don't show up in social media, because this is the best, the best platform that's free for us to use and to tell the people, to tell the organizations what you do. And it has been very helpful for me, Chris, that some people would ask me, what is trauma informed? Because I talk about trauma informed finance, and they were so curious about that, because it's a new thing that I'm talking about. So it's because if I didn't mention that, they don't know that, and then I'm being hired and to train them what is a trauma informed finance. So it is really helpful.
Sheila, what is one of the stereotypes of a CPA that's still going on today that you get?
I don't know how to. I would say mostly CPAs are like heads down, right? So then accountant are very focused on the work. And because I would say, because we're busy, there are just so many things to do. And I think we need to change that, because the more you do, you heads down, you forgot about the bigger picture. So most of the CPAs, if you're always into drowned in work, you forgot about the bigger picture. You forgot about the strategy, how to grow. For example, I am in the nonprofit. I always recommend that we need to look at the strategy and how are we going to improve our revenue, especially we just had our budget announcement from the federal government, and most of my clients are funded by the government. So we need to be proactive on what are the other funding sources. It's not like just CPA is the backbone, and it's backbone, or it's just the back end of an organization. I would like to inform the organization that CPAs are partners. They're not only just like a back office because to produce a report. No, it's not. So I'm actually telling that all the time in my social media, because we should be partners, because we are the driver of the revenue. And yeah, so thanks for asking, Chris. And We try to change a little bit our way of working, because most of the time we're just at the back office. They look at us as a back office, not as partners.
My guest, one of my viewers, Nikki Baker, wants to say trauma informed is genius.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is, because even though at the board meeting, when you're dealing with board members, some board members are still operating in scarcity, and they question, like, they are not looking at the bigger picture because they're operating in scarcity, where in fact investment is necessary. But if you are operating in a scarcity mode, and you all tend to push back, not looking at. So it's a trauma informed. That's why I always talk to my clients and train the management that you need to understand what's your trauma of money, because it affects the decision at the board level.
Sheila, in the CPA industry and dealing with money, how important is the work life balance to
Of
avoid from getting burned out?
Yeah, I that's a very good question. It is, I think, in everything, all the professions, and all of us, we should have a work life balance. And I know, being an entrepreneur, they say you can't have a work life balance, but it is important for us to take care of ourselves, because you cannot function properly if you are not 100% well. So no matter how busy you are, take some time. I went to the gym today, Chris. So I went to the gym. So I'm
Awesome.
also not good in following that, but I went 1 hour. Sorry, I'm digressing.
Awesome.
But yeah, but work life balance is very important in order for you to have the maximum, your ability to perform.
Going to the gym, that is awesome. And that's something I've been putting off for years. And I want to, you have to look after yourself too, because if you don't look after yourself and your body and your mind, you're not going to be able to do that work.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree.
Can you describe yourself as an entrepreneur and as a CPA?
As an entrepreneur, it's so there's a different way, right? Consultants sometimes are not entrepreneurs. So I've been a consultant for how many years? 4 years, 5 years, actually, 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm not yet. I started to be an entrepreneur last year. Entrepreneur is, how are you going to scale? Being consultant is so different. This is how I understand. This is how my logic is. Being a consultant is not an entrepreneur for me, because you feel like you're like an employee. It's just a different level. But being an entrepreneur is, you're taking the risk. You have to look at what are your options, and you have to pivot right away. Last year I started doing my tax. I had clients, and I had bookkeepers, and I hired bookkeepers offshore, and I had bookkeeping clients. But I realized that it's not worth it of my time, so I needed to pivot. So being an entrepreneur is very, very flexible, and you know when to pivot. And that's where the difference is. But that's how I see as being a consultant and also an entrepreneur. Sorry if I don't know if I answer you.
No, you did. You did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now, for myself and my audience, either live stream or an audio, can you just explain to us, Sheila, the term money practitioner?
Yeah, so money practitioner is basically like a financial coach or a financial advisor, right? So it's all about money. So if you look at Dave Ramsey, he is a very seasoned money practitioner. The only thing difference with me is I include trauma on my financial literacy and holistic approach. So it's I added the trauma piece of it, because no matter, some people, no matter how they try to start budgeting, how they try to start, paying off debts, it's always there's always a cycle. and it's not their fault, because sometimes it's their story, it's their trauma behind it. And that's why we need to heal those stories. We need to heal the history and their stories and then move on. So that's the difference between me as a trauma of money practitioner than a regular money practitioner, because money practitioner will always say sometimes you have to do budget 20-30 rule, invest 10%, 20%. Those are money practitioner. But yeah, so it's sometimes it's not useful for the general public, because most of the people are having trauma of money that needs to be addressed before we can move forward in order to be sustainable and financially free. I hope I answered that question, Chris. I kind of
Absolutely. And I'm just listening and learning from you. And Sheila, I wanted to ask you this as well. What are some of the biggest reasons for debt in 2025 for people spending extra money that they shouldn't?
Yeah, it's there's so many factors. So if you look at our marketing, right? So social media, we are in social media, and I've read about, no, I watched this YouTube about the history. No, I can't remember what's the origin of public public relations and why people are buying. And because of, the especially now with social media, like so many people, you tend to watch the social media, and then and at the end you're buying the things in social media, whatever this person is wearing, whatever this person is talking about. And then some people are going for a vacation even though where they're not ready, and even though they don't have any savings. It's because of, you know some people would look at that as comparison spending. I would always say that as comparison spending. You compare yourself to others. Oh, they're traveling, why can't I? So I don't have, even though that person has no savings, but well, I have credit cards, I can use it. So it tends, with a social media right now, it tends to people to spend more even though they can't afford. And another thing is that because of trauma, I will always go back to trauma, because they have that scarcity mindset, or they have the trauma that I need to be included, I need to be part of it. And that's a trigger for them to spend. So there's so many factors, as I said, social media and the trauma. I think it would marry.
One term I wanted to use with you, Sheila, and I heard this growing up in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s, called keeping up with the Joneses. And I think keeping up with the Joneses is probably worse now because of social media and seeing people, wow, they got this jet, they're going on this trip, they're going on that trip. Look at
Yeah.
the car they got. They're trying to compete with other people, and then they get themselves in the financial binds.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I remember that. That's true. It is. And that's where people are spending. And the money is easy, especially here in North America. There are credits, and it's easy. It's easy to spend. And now you are in the hole. And now coming out from the hole, it's so hard. But at the end of the day, we have to be compassionate of ourselves. If people were spending at the time, maybe that's how they cope their situation. So I will always go back to being compassionate. If you are in a hole, and being compassionate to yourselves, you made that decision at the time. It doesn't mean that, we are flaw flawed or something. It doesn't mean that sometimes people had debts because of they have no choice, because they need to survive, or lost their job. So there are really things also that we need to be compassionate to most people who are in debt, because there's always a reason, there's always a story. But at least understanding and acknowledging and facing debt, that would be the best, the next, the gentle step for healing. And hopefully you could move forward and try to understand and build the relationship with money better.
Do you find financial education has diminished? And do you feel that the high schools should be teaching kids economics? Obviously, when I was younger, I learned from my mother about the value of a dollar and budgeting money. But do you find that the schools should teach them some kind of economic course? And do you find financial awareness has diminished over time?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I would say yes. And especially like we will go back to what's going on with the social media. And if we are not teaching our kids, uh, and I would say start from home, parents, and then the school as well. And I believe high school here in Ontario, they already introduced that financial literacy, and they started last year. I think last school year they started that because it is important. They can see that now. Our system, our curriculum is very outdated, that it doesn't even include that. And then now, because the money, the credits and credit cards and money are very accessible, and then if they grow up, they don't know how to manage it. So if family could not or didn't get a chance to teach their kids, at least in high school would be the best time for them to learn how to manage.
I didn't get my first credit card until I was 22 years old back in 1994. And I didn't get my first debit card. It was actually called the Johnny Cash debit card back in 1988. So I was 16. And nowadays, everything has changed with access to debit cards, credit cards, and all these apps online now, too.
Yeah, totally agree.
Now, can you explain to our audience about good debt and bad debt?
There are really I don't look at really. So most of our money practitioner, like the rich dad poor dad, they say good debts are, you borrow money and you invest. Bad debts are you spend your car, you borrow money to buy car. But my principle is still, debts are really not good, because if you don't know how to manage it, there's a tendency for you to be in a hole. So
Get into a bigger hole.
yeah, yeah, so I don't, those are very expert. So if we I don't want to advise that, because we're not expert. I would say I could be an expert in that, but for my clients, for the general public, for the common people, we I don't want to advise that, because there's no good debt for us, I mean for the common people. Because if just in case you spend it, so it's not a good debt anymore. So yeah, that's my principle about that.
Do you feel bankruptcy is increasing in Canada specifically these
i
days?
I really didn't look at the numbers, but what I'm hearing or what I'm reading, because of after the COVID, our interest rates, the housing, there's so many, especially with the people who bought houses at the time, and then the houses were so high, and especially with the condominiums, I think it's in the news that their mortgage is even higher than the value of the property. So some just leave their property, and that would trigger the bankruptcy. I'm not sure of the number of bankruptcies, but I'm sure that there are a lot of properties are on a power of sale because of that. So that would be a triple effect to bankruptcy.
Sheila, if you're still good with time, I would like to play a little video from your website, risebuildacademy.com.
For
See,
sure.
risebuildacademy.com, and we'll play it right now. Let me know if you can hear the audio okay. If not, we'll fire the audio guy, which is me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. 1 second. I'm going to play it right now from risebuildacademy.com. Please, everybody, check it out and add it to your book list.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to share something truly close to my heart. It is helping women reclaim their financial independence through a trauma-informed and holistic approach to financial coaching. My passion for this work comes from my own journey. I grew up with financial instability. I grew up in the Philippines, where scarcity was a norm and stability was never guaranteed. Even as a CPA, I didn't always feel financially empowered. I had to learn, unlearn, and rebuild my relationship with money, just like so many women do. Over the years, I've had the privilege of working with organizations supporting women who are survivors of gender-based violence, poverty, homelessness, criminalization, and systemic marginalization. I saw how financial insecurity can keep women trapped in cycles of hardship, and I realized I needed to do something. As a finance professional, I knew financial literacy alone wasn't enough. What women need is a safe, supportive, and trauma-informed space that honors their lived experiences while helping them build sustainable financial independence. Because for many women, money isn't just about numbers. It is about safety, it is about confidence, it is about having the power to choose. And traditional financial advice often ignores the emotional and psychological impacts of financial trauma. That is why I created Rise and Rebuild Academy, a program rooted in trauma-informed, holistic financial coaching. I don't just talk about budgets and credit scores. I help women understand their financial habits, rebuild confidence, and make decisions from a place of empowerment, not fear. This means recognizing past experiences, shifting financial mindsets, and creating sustainable habits that truly align with each woman's reality and goals. Because financial independence isn't just about making money. It is about healing, growth, and long-term stability. I support all women on their financial journey, including those overcoming hardship, trauma, or systemic barriers such as criminalization or gender-based violence. Every woman deserves the tools and confidence to take control of her financial future. If this message resonates with you, let's connect. Whether you're on your own journey, supporting someone else, or working in an organization that wants to integrate financial empowerment into its programs, I'd love to work with you to make that happen. Together, we can rise, rebuild, and create a financial future where women thrive, not just survive.
Thoughts on that video, Sheila?
Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing that video. I always remember I have to go back to why I started that. And thank you for honestly, like I felt kind of, inspired again seeing that. I've actually started that early this year. And it's just reminding me what I'm doing. And it is just so, I don't know what to say, but I have to really continue doing this and helping. We have a few projects coming up. I will be going to the jail and helping women and to understand financial literacy and a trauma informed way. And it's just, I don't know. I'm just so happy to see that again. I know it's in my website, but sometimes you don't see it anymore. And then now I feel like, oh my God, this is the reason why I'm doing this. Thank you, Chris.
You're very welcome. And Nikki says, so proud of you, Sheila. Great work. And Nikki wants to say, it resonates with me, all the above.
Oh, thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
How did you come about being the founder of Rise and Rebuild Academy? And were there some challenges to starting up your own business, which is SMB Financial Consultant, correct?
Yes, yes. So that's basically my bread and butter, the SMB Financial Consulting. This is where I am a CFO, fractional CFO, and work with organizations. And yeah, so that's my source of income. The Rise and Rebuild Academy is I have smaller projects that partnered with organization. So one of the organizations that I'll be working with actually, and then I do funding proposal too. So I write the funding proposal to the government, and then partner with the organization. So one of the projects we are working with is I have to be in the jail and work with women. So I'm so excited about it. And we haven't started the timeline. We haven't talked about the timeline yet, but dealing with working with women at the jail, preparing them for their life after. It is so, I don't know how to say it, but I'm so excited. I'm nervous as well. And because I'm not a counselor, but I will be with a counselor, like, the trauma counselor. But uh, being part of that process in their lives to start over, and hopefully they will not gonna go back into the cycle of going back to the jail. It is very rewarding for me. So that's my inspiration.
I know you work with women. Any chance in the future you would work with men as well?
Yeah, for sure. Like right now, because most of my organizations I dealt with are women, so it's a mostly feminist and women organization, and our clients are women. So that's why I'm very focused on women, and I'm also inspired with my mother as well, who was a very strong mom, and that's why. But the reason why I'm thinking of men as well, but it's more on men should be part of the process. You know why? Because most of our clients who are abused of gender of men should be, from the prevention perspective, men should be aware, and they should know that they are the driver of that, what's happening to our survivors of the gender-based violence, why women are fleeing. It's because of men. And I will not gonna generalize that. Like, there are just like situations where men are like abusive of women in a situation. It's where we work right now at the shelter, mostly are survivors of gender-based violence, which their partners are men. So eventually I will. And yeah, so hopefully I could work with men as well. So, and I could work with men, and then hopefully I could impart that, you know what, uh since they are sometimes the abuse is coming from them, we will encourage men to also teach other men to be, to prevent things, to prevent the abuse.
Do you find there should be more attention to this with the mainstream media? I did not know a lot of this, just I've learned it from you this evening, Sheila.
Yeah. So actually it is. And it has been, so our organizations, my sister organizations as well. So I supported a few organizations, and we actually, the city of Toronto has actually declared that this is an epidemic. They intimate partner, the IPV, intimate partners violence. I don't know the details of the numbers, but a lot of women die died because of the partners. And the city of Toronto has declared that, and then the province of Ontario has declared that gender-based violence has to be addressed. So actually, the government is really helping organizations to prevent this.
Sheila, as we wrap this up, if you're okay for a few more questions, a few more minutes,
Yeah, I'm
still good?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm very
Okay.
flexible.
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
enjoying.
That's good. It's the guests that make a great show. I've been lucky. Now, this is a little bit off topic, but it still involves money and it does affect a lot of us. What are your thoughts on the term shrinkflation, with reduced amounts for a product for more money these days?
Yeah, it's really an interesting reflection at this time. Because the reason why I say that, my cousin who owns a pizza, one of the pizza shop, and he told me that, the pizza, the quantity is getting reduced. The quantity, the quantity and the ingredients is reduced, but the price has increased. So this is what we call shrinkflation. And the quality, the quantity and the quality of your product has been reduced, but the price has increased. So this is happening actually across. This is due to whatever tariff, they always call it tariff. But from the financial perspective, this is actually, I would say, one of the hidden forms of inflation. So I would say they should be like, from the business side, they should be transparent, but they're just using this as trying to hide the inflation piece of their product.
Because shrinkflation affects businesses as well, which get passed on to the consumers as
Of
well.
course. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And consumers should be, consumers should be actually being mindful right now. There are products who are like generic name, that the quantity, you just have to check the quantity and the quality and the quantity of the products and compare prices. I would recommend that.
Do you feel cash will be completely eliminated within the next 5 years as being in a digital world now? Because when I go to sporting events, BMO Field, the Rogers Center, or even arenas in the States in the past, not now, a lot of them don't accept cash and it's all debit and credit cards.
Yeah, I told. Well, I would say it's really that is really the trajectory right now. Like most, even the young kids, they do like, the wallet, right? They pay through wallet.
Google Wallet, yeah.
Yes, they paid through e-transfer already. But I would say that it would be hybrid. I don't believe, I don't think that in the next 5 years it will cash would disappear. For example, I'm going to give you an example, like my clients, I mean the women who I work with, I serve, they don't even have a bank account. So some of the population are still in that situation. So they cannot function if we are 100% digitally. So some people who don't have bank account and they need cash, they use cash. So most of our clients, we provide cash allowances, and they don't have any bank account. If we offer, give honorarium to clients, and then we offer, like, we ask if they have bank account to transfer, and they said no, just cash. So most I would say it would be hybrid, not 100%.
I definitely think you should start up your own podcast. You're a natural in conversation, and you're
Oh,
very well informed in research. And I learned a lot from you tonight.
oh, thank you, Chris. Thank you. I would think about it.
Definitely. And as we wrap up this show, for those people who are watching this show live stream or audio, and they might be financially struggling right now, what advice? What are some of tips or some advice you could give to those people?
The first thing I would like to say is that start with compassion. And there are really, what happened to you in your financial status right now, or finances, let's say if you're struggling with debts, just remember that there were reason behind that. And that's at some point at that time, you probably just needed to survive. So I think just be compassionate with yourself and facing it and owning it, and gentle by gentle. You can do it every day and make a gentle budget. And I would say that if you could follow my money healing with Sheila, I have a lot of tools and tips in order for us to know to to follow that story that I'm telling, and hopefully we will reach to financial freedom, and it will be a sustainable financial freedom. Because if you are going to do this right away, it won't. It is not sustainable. So I would go back and say, just be gentle to yourself and own it, and with compassion to yourself, and be proud of yourself if you acknowledge that you are going to change your money habits, and you are going to face your situation, and that would be the best step that you could do.
And possibly maybe get yourself a trustworthy financial advisor to assist you as well. Because
That's correct.
I've seen people win a lot of money or come into money, and then within 6 months or a year, the money is gone.
Yeah, it's still, that's why the trauma the trauma
Yeah.
of money, because yeah, I will always go back to the trauma of money, Chris, because it is always a trauma. Like,
You should
yeah.
market that. You should brand yourself as money trauma, because that is a big impact way people do what they do with their finances.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Thank you. I will do that.
Hey, also, I do this with all my guests as we wrap up the show. What are some fun facts or a fun fact about Shelly Baroro?
Fun facts about me. Okay, I would say, well, actually, I'm a very, I don't know, but I would say that I love to sing. I'm a
Oh,
Filipino. Yeah.
okay.
And I love to dance. So
Sing and
love to
dance.
sing karaoke. So that's a fun fact about me.
Favorite song to sing?
Oh my God, you gotta put me on the spot.
Yes, that's my role.
I don't know what to say. I don't know which one. What?
Class
Uh,
70s music, 80s music, 90s music,
I'm
60s
just gonna
music.
say money, money, money. You're my honey. So maybe that's the one because we talk
I've,
about money.
yes, or the OJ's For the Love of Money, or Pink Floyd, Money. I use that on the promo for you. I used Pink Floyd's Money.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yes,
that. Oh, amazing.
yes,
But I don't
yes.
know
The
that song.
that
Sorry.
promo that promo is on my TikTok page. So if you check it out on TikTok, you'll hear my promo for you with the Pink
Oh,
Floyd Money in the background too.
oh, okay. I will check that out.
I'm trying to think of that song that who sings it. They were popular in the '70s. I'm just trying to think the group. Abby's Waterloo. They sang Waterloo too. I just can't remember the name of the group.
No,
So
I can't remember any song right
I'll
now.
I'll remember it when we get off air.
Yeah. Okay.
And finally, it's called Ask the Host, a question segment, CDP. Do you have a question for me to put me on the hot seat?
Okay, it's my turn right now. Okay,
Yes.
so I think could I ask two questions?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I know you've spoken a lot of individuals or a lot of professionals and over the time, right? So what's one story or lesson from a guest that's really stayed with you?
I would say probably from Eric Smith, who's the voice of the Toronto Raptors of the National Basketball Association, Chuck Swirsky of the Chicago Bulls. Both of them came on my show 5 years ago, and I didn't think they would come on, and they came on, and they gave me some advice, and their advice was it's okay to write points and notes down, because when I started this, I was scripting everything, and it was all scripted, and they just said, Chris, just talk to your guests like you're having a natural conversation. So I took their feedback and their advice and applied it. And a lot of the questions I prepare for my guests ahead of time, I don't use half of them because I learned how to ad lib, think on my feet, and listening. Listening is just as important, if not more important, than any other career. And I'm sure in your career too, listening is as important as is communicating. So those guys gave me some good advice, and I've been really lucky. At first I couldn't get one guest on, and then I ended up getting an actress ventriloquist on my show, and 7 years later I've had 1,400 interviews. So I try to take feedback and try to take feedback, but also learn and just keep improving. And I really have a strong passion for this, and the guests are the stars of the show, and their stories, and I'm always constantly learning. So that's what I love about this. The last 6 years, I've done more learning than I did in my other career.
That's amazing. Thank you, Chris. And it's really good to be here too. I'm so happy to be here. It's really like a relaxed conversation. I didn't even think that we're live.
That's what I try to do. I want my guests to be comfortable and build a rapport with them. And I've had some guests come back on my show 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, and I also get a lot of first-time guests as well. And social media has been great because I use it for my career, and I let people know. And if they're not sure about me, I'm like, you can check out my YouTube channel, my website, and my content. And sometimes people come back to me and they want to come on. So I just want my guests to have a good time on here, and it's about their storytelling aspect and learning too.
That's really amazing. But remember, I have the second question.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So what's a fun fact
Uh,
about
I'm
Chris
I'm
Pome?
I'm left-handed. I'm a
Okay.
lefty. I am 5'6". I used to be 5'9".
What happened?
I guess I was in the shower too long.
Really, I thought with water it should grow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. Thank you, Chris. That was so funny.
No problem. Yeah, I'm left-handed, and I just love what I'm doing. I'm self-taught into radio media, and I am 53, and I'm also doing public speaking for local high schools once a month here. And I've reinvented myself. When I was younger, I hated public speaking and being in front of a camera, and now I'm quite comfortable in being in front of a camera, and I'm hoping to get back on the radio as well. So yeah, and there's a lot of things I was in security for 23 years, and that career kind of prepared me for this, because when you're in security, you have to deal with wealthy people, poor people, middle class. You have to deal with people with mental health situations, people that have lost their homes and everything to
Yeah.
gambling. So I've seen the financial side of gambling working in that environment for 2 decades as well, which I think helped me prepare me for this as well.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing.
And one of my former radio station managers is watching, Ryan O'Neill. He's out of Georgia. He gave me my first opportunity in radio a couple years ago. So I stay in touch with Ryan as well. And he's got a new station up, and I'm hoping to get back onto air. And I love doing this. And Nikki wants to say, you must have said something that she's laughing out loud. So Nikki wanted to say laughing out loud. That's a big thing nowadays, is LOL. That's a
Yeah.
huge thing. So, but I'll put you in touch with Nikki, because Nikki has a podcast show every Friday night on her Facebook page at 7 p.m.
Oh,
And perhaps maybe one day you can connect with Nikki. And I love connecting my guests with my other former guests as well. So
I love that.
and finally, where can our audience follow you on social media, your website, and the best way of contacting you directly?
Yeah, so I am on TikTok actually. That's how I met you, Chris. So it's actually Money Healing with Sheila. So it's originally Rise and Rebuild Academy, but on Rise and Rebuild Academy, it's I would say the Money Healing with Sheila is a portion of the Rise and Rebuild Academy, and eventually we'll create more. And I have Facebook, Sheila Baroro, and I have also Instagram, and as well I have my YouTube channel too, but I'm not
I
very
got to subscribe. I have to subscribe to your YouTube channel.
okay, yeah. And I'm also in LinkedIn, but my LinkedIn is more on my consulting. So
Okay.
I would love also to share my LinkedIn as well for my SMB Finance Consulting.
I will follow you there on LinkedIn as well. And
Yes,
maybe
I will
one day
look for you.
maybe one day you'll have your own merchandise out too.
Yeah, and yeah, thanks for reminding me, because I'm going to be launching my 90-day journal for money healing. And because I have actually followers in and TikTok that, it's even one or two or three engagement that say, Sheila, I always remember you when I go to shopping. It really keeps me going. And it's so good to hear that you touch people. So I'm going to work on the 90-day money journal healing. And it will be around Christmas time for the Christmas holiday presents.
And Sheila, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here today. I learned a lot from you, and I think my audience did as well. And continued success in what you're doing. And I would love to have you back on the show again in the future
Of
as a guest
course.
as well.
Of course, and thanks for having me here, Chris. It's really nice, and it's very relaxing, and it's just a matter of conversation. And I didn't realize we're live. And say
Yes.
hi to your followers too. Sometimes I forgot that people are watching. And
Yes,
thank you everyone for watching.
Nikki and Edward, thank you for watching and for your questions. And Sheila, give me a little bit of time tonight, and I will send you the full video, the audio, and I will break this into reels and clips because our society's attention spans have diminished. So I'll break them into 30, 40-second clips as well, and I will tag you in as well.
Okay, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sheila. Have a good night.
Good night.
All right, everyone, that concludes season 12, episode 8, overall 613 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. As we wrap up this show tonight, guys, the next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, brought to you by BarryCollin.com, is going to take place Thursday, November 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern with special guest Jerusha Wiggins. She is a motivational speaker, radio personality, and business coach. So Jerusha Wiggins will be on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show tomorrow, Thursday, November 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern. And she is on TikTok as well. And she was on CNN. Jerusha Wiggins used to work for CNN out in Atlanta. So motivational speaker, radio personality, and business coach will be our next guest on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And as we wrap up this show, everybody, as always, right now at Barry Collins Chevrolet, with a new vehicle purchase, get a $150 instant rebate on winter tires on a set of 4 new Bridgestone BlizzTac winter tires with the purchase or finance or lease of an eligible 2023 to 2026 vehicle. Conditions apply at Barry Collins Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Give them a call at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Palme sent you here as well. And as for my guest tonight, you can follow Sheila Baroro on these social media platforms. Her website is Rise Build Academy, risebuildacademy.com. She's also on Instagram, Sheila_M_Bararo, and also on TikTok at Rebuild and Rise 6 on TikTok as well. And she is on LinkedIn as well. And as we wrap up this show, everybody, if you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website, cambridgehumanesociety.org. All the animals and pets up for adoption, their profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org. And also, I am selling 2026 Cambridge District Humane Society calendars for $10. The proceeds go back to the programs at the Cambridge District Humane Society. They make a great Christmas gift, stocking stuffer, birthday gift, and my goal is to sell 30 calendars and raise $300 for the Cambridge District Humane Society. So if you're interested in a calendar and supporting the animals down at the Cambridge Humane Society, you can email me at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can DM me on my social media pages. And I want to say thank you if you are able to support the Cambridge District Humane Society with the purchase of a calendar. And you can also buy one of their quarterly raffle tickets through cambridgehumanesociety.org. Go on their website, click on events, and you can purchase your tickets there. The winner gets half the jackpot. The other half goes back to the Cambridge District Humane Society as well. And I want to say thank you to everyone watching the show live stream on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, X, and Instagram. And to those listening to this on my audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. And that wraps up our show today. I want to say thank you so much again to Sheila Baroro, who is she's a chartered professional accountant, or known as a CPA, and she's also the founder of the Trauma and Money Practitioner and founder of Rise and Rebuild Academy. And that website again is riseandbuildacademy.com. And I want to say thank you so much to Sheila for coming on here today. And I hope everybody has a great night. And as we wrap up the show, I got one more question. This is from Nikki. Good night. I want to say, Nikki and Edward, thank you for watching this show and for your comments as well. And thank you again to Sheila Baroro for coming on. And we hope to see you back here tomorrow, Thursday, November 6th, 1 o'clock, with special guest Jerusha Wiggins, a motivational speaker, radio personality, business coach, and she formerly was on CNN News out of Atlanta. I'm excited to have her on as well. And by the way, we've got some CFL news today. This was on Twitter, and I believe it's been confirmed by Dave Naylor. Former Toronto Argonauts head coach Ryan Dinwiddie is now joining the Ottawa is now leaving the Argos to become the head coach and general manager of the Ottawa Red Blacks, confirmed by Dave Naylor on Twitter X account. And that's a little bit of shocking news as well. Ryan Dinwiddie spent the last 5 years with the Argonauts, winning 2 Grey Cups with Toronto and making the East Final 4 times. So Ryan Dinwiddie is now the head coach and the general manager of the Ottawa Red Blacks, and there'll be lots of that news going on the Twitter X account and the CFL as well. Thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate it. Yes, 1 p.m. tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for my next show with Jerusha Wiggins, who's on TikTok. Again, a motivational speaker, radio personality, and business coach as well. And again, Ryan Dinwiddie is now with the Ottawa Red Blacks. If you're a Toronto Argonauts, Ottawa Red Black fan, and CFL fan as well. And the Eagles are back in action Monday night, November 10th at 8:15 when the Eagles take on the Green Bay Packers as well. I hope everybody has a great night. And again, thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet for being a sponsor of this show. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, hosted by Chris Pame. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.